Love spooky season and want to cap the occasion with a trip where people know how to celebrate? Today we break down where you should plan next year's Halloween adventure, and we reveal our number one Halloween event that has become an annual tradition for us and our friends.
Welcome to the Travel More podcast.
Each episode, we share custom itineraries, travel hacks, expert advice, and even stories of our past travel failures to help you level up your travel game.
I'm Shelly, a lover of plans, itineraries, and cheap flights. I'm an expert deal finder with one eye always on the budget.
And I'm Bruce, the improviser, ready to pick up where plans fail to turn letdowns into unexpected trip favorites. We're here to bust through barriers that stop you from making your travel dreams a reality.
So book that flight, buy the tickets, and say hello to your next adventure.
This is the Travel More Podcast. Welcome back to the Travel More Podcast.
Welcome.
It's October, which means
Spooky season.
the ghouls are out and the skeletons.
No, it's so nice because we finally got to travel a little bit after having the entire summer full of travel and then not traveling since September, and then now finally in October we've been able to get out a little bit and stretch our legs.
Yeah,
which is nice. But I just love October in general is such a cool month to travel. I mean, obviously for Halloween's sake, but also I feel like a lot of countries actually kind of come alive in fall.
Yeah, I mean, you've got harvest time, changing of seasons, festival. Yeah, it's definitely a cool time of year. And if you can travel this time of year, it's definitely not as popular as the summer.
Yeah.
So things are
Shoulder
cheaper.
season.
Yeah, shoulder season. Things are cheaper. There's all kinds of options that I think are pretty cool this time of year.
Yeah, today we're going to talk mostly about why you would travel or where you would go specifically for the spooky season. So as much as we love fall, we've done a New England fall, which is obviously where we would go in the fall. So we're not talking about fall destinations as much as we are Halloween destinations.
And most importantly, the activities that come with Halloween.
Of course.
Because I know,
what everyone loves.
I mean, that's obviously haunted houses, haunted hay rides, kind of spooky events.
A full new world to me. Because there was not haunted houses and haunted hay rides in Memphis.
See, I find that so hard to believe because, I mean,
someone's going to come at me.
Yeah,
they're literally, but they're going to be there's plenty to do in Memphis. But maybe I just didn't do it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, in New England, where I grew up, and honestly, this could be credit to my mom because she absolutely loves haunted houses.
She's adventure energy.
Yes, dude. She has, honestly, I remember, this is, I may have been a little too young for some of the haunted hay rides I went on, but honestly, it made me who I am today. So, but we went, we went on so many cool, October, outings. But I think that it might be a thing around here. There's just so many farms.
It's got to be a thing.
I think it's because
everyone I've met from New England is what's your favorite Halloween event? I'm it's a thing you have.
Yeah,
here?
Well, honestly, I think in part it's if there's a lot of farms, you've got apple picking, you've got your corn maze, and then it kind of gets towards October,
it's
and they
essentially
set up
a fairy tale.
Yeah,
it sounds like
pretty awesome.
A book you read.
I mean, Hocus Pocus. It's Massachusetts, right? So there you go.
That's true.
It's awesome.
There's a lot of movies filmed here. For Halloween.
Well, I mean, it's New England. It's the fall wonderland in a way, so.
That's true. Well, so when we talk about our favorite Halloween destinations, we're not going to go international for this one just because, if you're like us, this is not the easiest time to travel for you. So we're going to focus mostly on where could you go for maybe a long weekend? Just a quick trip, maybe take one day off work, maybe you can coincide it with Columbus Day, although watch the crowds on that one. But where could you go to celebrate a little bit of fall, a little bit of spooky season? We got a couple of cool options.
So our first one is New Orleans.
God, one of our favorite cities.
I mean, we've talked about it before. I think New Orleans is so awesome. And man, it really embodies a lot of Halloween energy.
Yeah.
Seriously, because you've got the history of voodoo and things like that. There's a lot of ghosts.
It might as well be Halloween Town in Nightmare Before Christmas. I feel it's that vibe always.
Yes.
We went in the dead of winter, nowhere near Halloween. In fact, much closer. We were in Carnival, actually. Mardi Gras season.
It was Mardi Gras season.
And it still's just kind of spooky.
Yeah.
The place is just a little spooky.
There's a lot of that kind of vibe throughout
it.
So, I mean, I think New Orleans is awesome to go Halloween.
Oh,
and
yeah.
If you're trying to avoid the weather's getting colder, if you want to go back down to the heat, go to New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, it will probably be nicer because obviously anywhere deep south that's going to get real hot in the summer. So it's it'll be nicer, but it's probably still pretty warm. But
Yeah,
not
but we're
as
out of
warm.
that, like, open the dryer, humid,
God.
awful August weather.
What he
So
means
now
by
it's
open the
warm.
dryer is that's what it feels like in the South in the summer. It's like you open the dryer.
And
Like that
breathe in
feeling.
the hot,
Yeah.
wet air.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's horrible.
How pleasant.
I don't know if I've ever heard you call it that.
That's what it is,
terrible.
though. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, New Orleans, the land of ghost tales, right? I think, what a great place to go. So many things you could do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the classic like voodoo shop is called. I think it's on
Marie
something.
Oh man.
Marie something. We got to figure it out. Is it on a Bourbon Street? Is it
Pretty
off?
sure it's all the way down Bourbon Street.
It's like all the way at the end.
I kind of feel like it's near Jean Lafitte's.
Yes, which is also a really cool bar. And for some reason also feels appropriate for Halloween. It's like an old blacksmith.
They're all appropriate.
There's something
this is
about
my point.
it, yeah.
And also for some reason Halloween feels more than any other holiday I can think of. It feels like a time to party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
dude, it has a certain party energy.
Yeah, that's
You're
what I
gonna
mean.
get that in New Orleans.
And at Bourbon Street and all that.
Well, they've got they're all about like masquerade type parties and things, and you've got that old French influence. Well, a lot of influences kind of merging together.
Yeah. It's a vibe.
It is. It's cool. I would definitely check out New Orleans.
Yeah. Another one, we're going to jump back up to us because, we have to mention some places near us. That's like what are you talking about? Like the queens, the kings of Halloween.
For sure.
So Salem, Massachusetts, obviously.
Yes. Although, really quick disclaimer, be careful if you go like at Halloween. I think they've literally had the National Guard for like people management. It's so popular.
Here's one of those things. It's just like going anywhere. You go to Disney at Christmas. You go to New Year's Eve on
Times Square.
Times Square. Yeah, like
it's just gonna be packed.
You just have to go in knowing like this is an experience, and the reason it's packed is because it's freaking cool. You know what I mean? Like people are coming here because it is a thing to do, and yes, it is crazy busy, and that's okay with me. Like, I know I'm going to be packed in like sardines, and that's okay. And if that's something you can kind of accept, I think Salem at Halloween maybe takes the cake for like how cool.
And Salem's another place that, you've got a lot of classic things that scream Halloween all year round.
Like the literal witch trials.
Literally the Salem witch trials. Where there's the witch museum, there's the witch dungeon museum, which is really cool.
It's scary.
I remember as a kid I went, and there's like, it's cool because there's a lot of different museums. There's a lot of different people and vendors that are kind of in the realm of Wiccans and other things. There's also historical aspects to that.
Right.
It's like Tituba, if you remember from history, and the Salem witch trials.
Yep.
It's got everything, and then at Halloween it just adds on a layer. So like if you look at
like a masquerade ball.
Yes, I believe so. I'm trying to look. So a really cool resource if you go to Salem, they have like a tourism website. It's literally just salem.org. But then there's a whole nother website that's just like hauntedhappenings.org, which is Salem. There's an entire guide that you can have emailed or mailed to you. Like just
that's wild.
It's the whole month of October essentially. So
we'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah, and outside of their like normal kind of
spooky vibe.
Yeah, all the witch dungeons and things like that. The House of Seven Gables. I don't know if you know that. It's a classic book. Very cool place. They've everything is kind of like ramped up times 10.
Makes sense.
For Halloween. So
the only thing like we said, it's busy. So the other tip that we have for that is just because it's busy doesn't mean it's bad, but book your tickets like literally right now if you want to go next year.
Yeah, I would definitely, because like if I were going to Salem in Halloween season, I would probably go not on Halloween. I would probably go in October sometime, but even then, you're going to want to book.
Like literally a year out. Like literally right now, if you're like, wow, that sounds really cool, like go on your computer and book a hotel.
Yes.
Make it refundable. So like, plans change, but like book something.
Well, especially if you want to stay at a smaller boutique place or like a bed and breakfast, which is very New England.
Yes.
I used to work for bed and breakfast in Vermont, and
you're a little shameless.
Well, literally like I want to say from September to Thanksgiving, and even in the summer, like it just was sold out.
Yeah. I know. I just tried to help somebody and I was like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
Literally sold out.
Well, because not only have you got all the fall festivities and different things, or college homecoming, because there's, things like that. Once you get to Halloween, it is the high season.
Yeah. So just book in advance. We're going to stay up north, not quite New England, but right next door in New York. So another location of kind of original spooky tales, Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane. So there's actually like Sleepy Hollow County.
Yeah, well, Tarrytown. So on the Hudson.
I thought this was not real. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, can I just tell you,
I really
Shelley? I
thought
blew
this was
Shelley's
fake.
mind because we were like looking for Halloween things to watch, and on Disney Plus, I stumbled across what I don't only remember from like snapshots of my childhood. But there's like an old Disney animation of Ichabod Crane, like the Headless Horseman,
Right.
Washington Irving story. And I'm like, oh my God, it exists. And I didn't think it existed. Like I just had this thought. I think I was like 6 years old when my mom probably put it on TV on a VHS or something.
No, that's what we were literally talking about. This. That's too young. That's got to be too young.
For the Headless Horseman?
Yeah, we were talking about
No.
this,
I
and
mean,
we were
it's a
like,
little
how
scary.
old would you want to show this? And it kind of scared
Listen,
me.
I had to grow up fast. I have 4 older brothers. They're like, it's time.
Yeah.
Come on, hurry up. So
But
anyway,
you were such a scaredy kid.
maybe this is why.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
I'll never forget on the haunted hayride when the witch climbed down and offered me candy, and I died. I was death. My soul left my body.
That's actually hilarious.
Anyway, so but
So going back to New York and Sleepy Hollow County,
Yes.
which is a real thing. I guess I knew it was a real thing. I didn't know it was called Sleepy Hollow County.
I didn't realize. I thought that was part of the fictional part of it.
Honestly, is it? Like, there's a whole website.
I think it's
Maybe
if
they just make it
wasn't,
up.
It is now. Like it's definitely a place because I went there. I went to Washington Irving's house, which is if you visit this area, really nice on the Hudson. I mean, you can go to New York City and make like a weekend of this, or
It's a little more than a weekend, I think.
it is. But I mean, who knows? If you have time, it's not. What I'm saying is, it's not that far.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's probably an hour. I want to say maybe more from New York. Depends on the traffic. But anyway,
It's not terrible.
it's a cool place. During Halloween, they've got the freaking Headless Horseman at like 20 different events. There's all kinds of festivities.
Hay rides, ghost tours. I mean, they literally have some like multiple things every week. I was
And
looking
it
at it,
looks
but
like
they
it's just
also do
growing.
sell out. So that's
Yep.
another one. But that one just says like buy your tickets before you get here. It doesn't necessarily sell out a year in advance. It's just saying like don't get here on a Saturday at 8
don't knock
p.m.
on the door. Yep.
Yeah, and expect to come in. So that's another really cool one though. I've never done that, and like researching for this, I was like, oh man, like I want to do that.
I know. Well, I thought about it. I was like, I definitely wanted to take you to see the Hudson, like the Washington Irving house.
I don't think we have a weekend.
See,
before
that's
Halloween.
there needs to be double the weekends in October.
Yeah, let's
'Cause I
just
need
make
to
October
do-
2 months.
I agree.
We
Let's
could have
do it.
started in September, I guess. Some people do that.
Yeah, but it's still like not. It's almost spooky season.
We could have started in September.
Okay, we could. No, now you're gonna be like department stores where they're already selling like Valentine's stuff today.
I'm telling you, I think I had this discussion in a podcast earlier where it was like after after was it Labor Day? Maybe it was a Labor Day. It was like the second Labor Day was over, people were like Halloween, and I was like, no.
You have
It
to let it
actually might have been
breathe.
4th of July.
No.
It was something ridiculously
wait.
early.
It had to do with just like autumn in general. I think they're like it's fall now.
Yeah,
It's
I think
super
it was
early.
literally after the 4th of July. And they were like, oh, fall. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I get it. I want spooky season too, but
Nope,
like,
you gotta
not
wait.
since July.
You gotta wait.
Yeah, anyways.
To everything there is a season.
So speaking of all these things, beyond very cool places to hang out, like the 3 we mentioned, there is also like tons of Halloween events, which I'm sure you right now can think of probably some in your area. But there are some that kind of like stand out in the crowd. And honestly, a lot of these have to do with amusement parks because what could be better than like haunted house and amusement park at one? Like that just is such a fun event.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the favorites that come up quite often are Knott's Berry Farm in California. I actually
put a
heard
big
that
one
this
on.
one's like the scariest of them.
Yeah, I would love to go to this.
Yeah,
I'm
it'd
hearing
be
it's kind of
awesome.
like topping the scales recently.
Yeah.
Competing to be the best.
Yeah, so that one is up there. And then around the corner is Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood, like or California, I should say. Which we're gonna go a little more into Halloween Horror Nights in a bit, and then they're very similar events. So that's just another really fun one. SeaWorld has Hallow Scream, which is like kind of an in between. This is like a big question people ask about bringing kids.
Do they only have sharks in the aquarium
my
or
gosh,
something? Is that what it is?
No, they have haunted houses,
like,
but like they.
like shipwrecks? Like what
No,
is
I think they have real haunted houses.
I mean, it's SeaWorld, right? Like what else?
Yes, I get what you're
It
saying.
could be a
but
kraken.
maybe they do some years. I don't think it's like a permanent fixture.
That'd be fun.
But anyways,
You should tell them that's my idea.
okay, I'll send them this. But they do have like necklaces you can wear that say like "Don't scare me." So like
Boo.
I
No,
know,
it's cool.
but
It's cool.
it's
Listen,
good for like
there's plenty of people who don't want to be scared.
well, it's
I'm
good for
kidding.
an in-between event if you want to take your kid, but you're not exactly sure how they would handle
Mhm.
a bigger event. It's like a good in-between like tryout.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, because speaking of, not so scary events.
Oh yeah. Well, I think actually, well, not so scary would be Disney's, right?
Yes,
So
that's kind of what I was getting
I
at.
kind of got
Just
you.
like down the street. So.
Right. So Disney's not so scary. Obviously, not so scary. They do have the Headless Horseman though in their parade.
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah,
So-
because it's their IP, right?
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
Ichabod
That's
Crane was
why we
on.
watched
Yeah.
it on Disney Plus.
Yep, yep, yep.
But then another theme park one is Fright Fest at Six Flags, which there's quite a few of those. So like that's pretty fun.
Yeah, you'd have to tell. There's a lot of Six Flags. I feel like it's probably very regional how good they might be.
I heard the one in Texas is awesome.
I think that might be the OG Six Flags.
Flags
It's
over
Six
Texas.
Flags over Texas.
Yeah.
So like Six Flags New England and the one in New Jersey, I think have been. I don't know. It depends.
Not quite the same.
Yeah, I think it depends on which one you're at.
Yeah. Well, and then there's of course like tons of dotted like individual haunted house type
sure.
deals. And some of them look super dope. So, if you are really into haunted houses, I might just like Google and see what's near you. Make a weekend out of it. That'd be pretty fun. But speaking of events, we have to talk about our all-time favorite Halloween event. I feel like we need a drum roll. Yeah, thank you. And it's Halloween Horror Nights. So, a real quick story about this. We went for the first time for a friend's 30th birthday party. And we didn't know what it was. And honestly, I'm not a haunted person. Like, I'm not a haunted person. What a weird thing to say.
It's very strange.
I'm not a person who, like, loves horror movies. Like,
Yeah,
I really
neither
don't.
of us like go after.
No, but I really
horror.
don't.
Yeah.
Like they really scare me. And so this friend was like, we're gonna do this thing, and we were already gonna go to Disney with them because we had annual passes, and we were like, maybe you should just probably do it, right? Like it's a one-time thing. It costs like at the time like $65 a person or something, and we're like, we should just try it. And it was like the most fun we've ever had in our whole life. Like it was so fun.
Oh yeah.
And it continues
loved
to
it.
just be so fun. We go every single year, and now we've like got a group going. This year, I think we had like 6 people or something.
Yeah, well, it's become a tradition that I think it's really fun, and
It's really
you
fun.
got to get the right group of friends too. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Go. It's really fun to go with a group.
Yeah, it is. Their whole slogan is like "Never go alone," and honestly, they say it kind of as a homage to like, "Oh, it's scary," but I wouldn't want to go because it is just like so fun to go with a group because it's scary. Ish. Like it's not. I wouldn't bring kids to it. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And just because I don't, the whole vibe is very adult.
It's mature. It's definitely an adult vibe, an adult event.
Yeah, but at the same time, I guess I don't get I don't get jump scared super easily. Like some people get really easily kind of like scared. I don't.
Yeah.
But
it's
I
also,
still really love it.
and it's not like a lingering, lasting, scary thing.
No, but my point is like I'm trying to tell like how scary this event is. And like for me, I wouldn't say it's terrifying, but I know a lot of people would say it's pretty scary, and then some people would say it's not scary at all. I think it's like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere in the middle for sure. It's definitely like anybody who's seeking out more intense experiences.
It's probably not for you.
Then obviously, like you're not gonna get it in these giant kind of like haunted houses with a ton of people walking through the queues.
Right. This is
But
like
There's more. Yeah, this is.
I like jump scares. I'm having a good time. I'm drinking a pumpkin beer. Life is good. Like
Yeah,
that's
and you
kind of
can-
like the vibe.
It's fun. The food is fun. The theming is fun. The houses are made of like Hollywood quality.
I mean, they're
sets.
amazing.
So-
And there's always like a mix of IPs. So like big names. Like this year, we just went actually a couple weeks ago, and it was like Stranger Things, Last of Us, Chucky, Exorcist.
Yep.
So those are like the bigger ones, and then they have their own original houses, which honestly tend to be better and a lot of times. Although I think Last of Us might have been the best house. But this year they had Dr. Oddfellow, which was kind of a
Like an ongoing theme.
voodoo kind of deal. And then they had Darkest Deal, which was like a like sell your soul to the devil type, thing. What was another one of their
The dragons.
Dueling Dragons, which was like Merlin, which
That was cool.
that one was fun.
Well, it's paying homage to the old ride that they used to have.
Yes, Julian Drag, right? And you get to like pick your own ending, but like it was like a second.
It felt like it needed to be longer.
Yeah,
but it was still cool.
Yeah.
So you get the idea. There's like a bunch of different houses every year. It's a thing. Like there's a huge following to this.
Yeah, multiple Facebook groups
the
and
Yeti
podcasts even that go through the lore of it.
The
Yeah,
Yeti,
the
one
Yeti
is,
was good.
There's been a couple different renditions of the Yeti, and
They're always fun.
I love that one.
But I think the best part is this. We went with two people. We go every year actually with one of these people, but the two people we went with this year for the whole event, they both love haunted events, and one of them actually used to work haunted events. And so I think for a little bit they were kind of like, oh, this is good, but like I'm not getting scared because like I know all their tricks.
Sure.
All they needed, by the way, was about one beer, and then it was fine. But we went in somehow by ourselves to one of these houses. I think it was the Universal Monster one, which is like all the classic monsters, which is also another good one every year. And we were totally alone. Usually it's like a Congo line that you kind of Congo line that you go through. So like, they scare you, but it's different. This was like we are by ourselves right now somehow. And the guy in front of me, our friend, was like, who wasn't really scared at all yesterday, the day before, was like getting so many of the scares. Like I literally watched him like jump out of his skin at one point. It's like a cartoon. He jumped so high, like off the ground. And by the end of that house, I mean, I was also getting scared myself, but by the end of the house, I was like crying. I was laughing so hard. And I think that that's kind of why it's fun to go with friends to these types of events. It's like, was I scared too? Yeah, a couple of times in that house. But also watching your friends get scared, like if you didn't get the jump scares, is like almost even better. And so like that's kind of the vibe of this house of this whole event is like it's just a good time.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely I don't know. You gotta walk into it wanting it. You know what I mean? You gotta walk into it like enjoying and embracing it.
Yeah, and then it's universal. So like the theming of them we already talked about was amazing. There's rides. We kind of skipped those during the event. This year they had Death Eaters in the Harry Potter land. Like cool. That's just really cool.
Yeah.
And
I know something I always look forward to is the food they have every year.
We love food at events.
I don't know.
It's like the very first thing that we go to is like when an event comes up, we're like, that's cool. Where's the menu?
But to be honest, like it's not just like a novelty where it's like not great quality. A lot of the stuff I've had there has been really good too.
Yeah. Like, Universal to me is, hit or miss in terms of their festival food. Actually, I think their theme park food is pretty decent.
Yeah.
Mostly. But their Halloween Horror Nights to me has been a little hit or miss. This year though, I feel like they really stepped it up.
Okay, well my favorite thing I'm remembering was the cordyceps corn dog.
That's what I'm saying. That's legitimately like that was a good freaking
good.
Corn dog.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like it was big too.
You didn't even know there was a hot dog in it. You thought it was just a cheese stick.
Well, I thought it was like a fry. I didn't know what it was. It just looks good, and it was mad good.
It was really good. It had like this like truffle kind of sauce on it because of cordyceps, of course.
Yep.
And it had like potato fried things on the top.
There was also so a lot of times they have food themed after the houses. There was the Yeti one, and the Yeti one was like a camping trip gone bad, and there's like a Yeti monster that like messed everybody up. Yeah. I'm just remembering in the house the bear.
Oh my gosh. So here's the other thing. There's like real random moments in these houses that just don't make it like they're just bad. But like
they're not bad, they're funny. I think they're funny on purpose.
They're like
it's like
campy.
Yeah.
And so this is one of them. Last year was the
tardigrade? How do you say it?
Tardigrade.
Okay, there was a Bugs house last year. It was
terrifying.
It was awesome. It was like 1950s.
It was the best one.
It started like a 1950s commercial.
Yeah.
And you go in there and there's like bugs are taking over. And
you walked through one section where like you felt like spider webs were touching your face.
Oh yeah, it was
a lot.
It was a really good house. It was creepy. But when we were outside too, we saw the scare actors kind of they switch shifts because they're not in there all day. Obviously, they'd go crazy.
Yeah.
But there was this one costume, and it was one of those tardigrade. Is that how you say it?
I think so.
They're like
water bears.
Water bear creatures.
They're like giant. A big they're actually like really teeny tiny. That's like a parasite. And he's just like in this giant, like human-sized bug costume.
But people like
they
cheered.
Yeah. They literally
just, like,
cheered.
The best thing.
So going back to this year, what he's talking about is there was a bear in that Yeti one. And it was like a dad Halloween costume where it was like the bear was, fit on like a suit, but then the head was above the actual person's head. So it was like I don't know, like a 1.5 foot long neck.
Yeah.
It was
like,
such a long neck. And he just like came out, I was like, And it was like, what? And like we just
it was like
bust out
roar.
laughing. Yeah, it was the most ridiculous. But that's where they get you.
They
Because
catch
then
you
you're
off
laughing
guard.
and you're
Oh,
like,
yeah,
what the
yeah,
heck is
yeah.
that? And they come out from the other side at you.
Yes.
You just can't put your
Freaks you out. Yep.
guard down.
Anyway, I didn't mean to go off too much. I'm just remembering how fun that was. The food. So there was a poutine because it was like
I wasn't sure about that one.
I
know you liked it.
It's because it was different than what you expected. I think it was like a Chinese spices kind of like
a
Himalayan
Szechuan type.
Szechuan. Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause
which
it's
is not
like-
my favorite of the like Chinese foods.
It was good though. I liked it,
Yeah.
and it was unique
It was unique.
and themed.
And it was like I thought it was good quality. I just wasn't a huge fan of the flavors. But there was like a ravioli that was served in like a ration can. You know, they do fun things with it. And I really think that they're trying to like step up their food program, which I appreciate because I feel like their food has been really weird. Their food was weird too this year. What was that hot dog? It was like a hot dog with a confetti cake bun.
Oh, yeah, it was like
and
it was Oddfellow.
bubblegum
It
ketchup.
was like a circus.
But
'Cause-
what is that? It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's strange. Well, I
That's
mean, like
gross.
honestly, you think about it, Halloween is definitely the time for like too much sugar, too much alcohol, like too much like weird combination foods. Like
I just could not.
there was
and
the peanut
and
butter
their-
jelly burger.
That's what I mean.
It was
No,
like it's a lot.
no. And their drinks, their mixed drinks, are very sugary.
That's true.
Like-
They did have a couple places where you can get like a normal cocktail,
Yeah, but
but I always go for their
the
pumpkin
beer.
That's
Yeah,
the way. That
it
is
just
the way.
feels like the time.
Mhm.
Yeah. But we absolutely, I mean, obviously, we're sitting here like reminiscing about our years at Halloween Horror Nights. But we truly love this event. And I honestly book this in January of every year. It's the very first thing I do on the travel. Like, we talk about the travel talk and setting your year up for travel. It's like our very first episode, like a little plug back. And it's the very first thing that I book because I know when we're going. And I just go ahead and put the deposit down for the
It's like a
rooms.
standing appointment.
Yeah.
It just already has a slot.
Exactly. I don't like book
So-
everything, but I book the hotel rooms. So
But if this is something you're interested in, or any of these, if you're looking at, I want to go to Salem or I want to go to Halloween Horror Nights, let us know.
hit us up.
We can give you more information.
Yeah.
Because especially for some of these, you're gonna want to know some things
Yeah.
to make the best experience.
And I mean, hey, Magic Pass Travel, which is our travel agency, Universal is one of our specialties. So especially if you want to go to Halloween Horror Nights, definitely hit us up at that point.
Definitely.
And it's free, which you're about to hear all about in the advertisement at the end of this podcast that you hear every time that you probably skip. But I'm telling you now, as a secondary.
But definitely, I love Halloween, and I think the key with all these destinations we're highlighting is it's got an aspect. They all kind of share something.
Yeah.
There's a lot of theming.
Yeah.
There's something scary. There's something
Mhm.
kind of funny. Usually there's like comedy involved.
So you're just saying there's a vibe.
There's a vibe, man. I'm trying to put my
Yeah.
finger on it. There's cool food.
I feel like that's the name of this podcast right now. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
I've been around my middle schoolers too long.
Anyway, so definitely check out our Facebook group, check out the show notes, reach out to us. It's been awesome to hear some people reaching out, giving us
Yeah.
some feedback, asking for help, wanting
We've been able to help quite a few people plan some trips.
Yeah, we'd love to hear
Just
from
for
you.
funsies.
So definitely let us know if you're doing anything fun for Halloween. Let us know. We'd love to hear
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Especially if we've missed like a really cool event that you're like, wait a minute, you didn't say anything about this. Please come tell us at the Facebook group.
Yeah, shout it out.
Please don't keep it inside. That's the best part about
We
this
wanna
travel
know.
community is sharing all these fun little
wanna know.
secrets.
Awesome. Thanks
All
for
right.
listening, guys.
See you next time.
See ya.
Did you know that every time you book a Disney or Universal vacation, you're paying for a service that you may not even be using?
Really?
That's right. Travel agent costs are added to your Disney or Universal vacation, whether you use one or not.
So you're telling me that I'm paying for something even though I'm not getting the help?
You got it. So next time you want to book a theme park vacation, make your money work for you. By booking with Magic Pass Travel, you'll get our expertise and years of experience without paying any extra and while supporting a small business.
Check out our show notes to find our contact information.
Can't wait to help you plan your next adventure.